Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Liz, and today I'm showing you how I make some homemade red sauce or pasta sauce, whatever you want to call it. I'm starting off with my Dutch oven. This is the Hearth and Hand Dutch oven that I got from Target, and I'm putting avocado oil in the bottom. You can't see it. I turned the heat onto a medium-high heat, and now I am chopping up my veggies. First is the celery. I don't know where the clip of me cutting up the onion is, but I know, mom life. And so celery, onion, and some green peppers. And I wanted to include just, the prep work that goes into making a sauce, because sometimes people don't understand how to make a sauce. And I figured, you know what, it's Vlogmas. I'm showing different recipes. I might as well show this one as well. This is just something that I kind of wing. Is making a homemade sauce, the same thing with an Alfredo sauce, and I wanted, this is real life cooking. This is me not cooking with a cookbook. This is me just on a lazy Sunday post or pre hour and a half nap on the couch, just making something. This is after playing outside with the kiddos in the snow, and after my sister left because we saw Wicked the night before, just all the jazz. So I wanted to include just little tidbits here and there. And oh, here comes the onion. I don't know why I couldn't remember where I put the clip of the onion, but that's totally fine. That's totally besides the point. I don't know. Maybe it's just mom brain that's happening right now. But I'm going to let some music play, and I'll be back in a little bit.
Will I ever see you again? I could travel 1,000 miles just to feel your arms around me. I will give my love to you.
So now the oil is nice and hot, and what you want to do, or nice and warm, what you want to do is add in your veggies. I'm first going to add in some garlic, and when I added this in, I'm doing 2 tablespoons of freshly minced garlic, freshly minced from the jar. Thank you, Goya. Anywho, that's besides the point. Once you put it in there, it was a nice little tss that came off. So after this, I'm going to add in all of my veggies, or half of my mirepoix, as some people say, because it doesn't have any carrots. And I'm just going to let that cook down, and I'm going to add some seasonings to it. I add some celery salt, which I'm going to show it in the clips, and I purposely broke it down so you could see it. I did add a little bit more of avocado oil just so all of them get nice and moist. See, there's the celery salt, and each layer you add in, you need to add flavor. And yes, that was real life. That was me taking it off because I was holding something in the other hand, and yeah, life is just life right now. So now it's the Italian seasoning, so celery salt, Italian seasoning, and I do add pepper into it, and it's whatever seasonings you want to put in your sauce. It's not like, it's based on your palate, what you want. I just did something mild because it's me and the kids that are eating, and my husband has D&D on this night. So I just figured, you know what, keep it simple. Pepper, Italian seasoning, and some celery salt. So here is the pepper that I just added in, fresh milled pepper, and some onion, salt, allium. It's mixed from Trader Joe's. This thing is magnificent. I highly recommend it. So here they have softened. This is after I think 10 minutes maybe. And what I'm doing is, I've never used these before. This is sun-dried tomatoes in a jar with olive oil. So I'm going to use half of this jar in it. I wanted to add a little bit of a complexity to this sauce without making it super bougie, bougie on a budget, you know what I mean? So I added half the jar of the sun-dried tomatoes and a little bit of the olive oil that's in the jar, and give it a nice little stir. And then what I wanted to do was to, after this cooked for a minute or two, deglaze it with orange juice. If you are making a sauce, you need an acid, so orange juice is the perfect go-to when it comes to stuff like this. And also to balance that off with any of the added salt that you add in, or pepper, you also have to add in sugar. I know it sounds really weird, but trust me, it makes sense when you cook. When you have an acid, you need to balance out the taste. So what I did was I ended up, after letting this simmer for just a little bit, see how it simmered down, it's reduced. I then am going to add in some sugar to it to balance all those flavors together. I use 0-calorie sweetener, which is stevia, and that is what I'm putting in there. And I use, 1 tablespoon of stevia. That's all I used to just the eyeballed of the orange juice. And then once that is all married in together and cooked about another 5 minutes, that's when you start building up your sauce. So you add in your tomato paste, add in your diced tomatoes, and you add in your jar of tomato sauce if you want, a plain tomato sauce, just to round it out. So I use an entire little jar of tomato paste, and I end up working that in. You see I'm doing it with a spoon, and you really want to just incorporate it down. That way it's a good, nice base to the start of your sauce. After you incorporate that in, that is when I'm going to add in some diced tomatoes. This is Italian style diced tomatoes that I got at Market Basket, and I already put the sun-dried tomatoes in, but I always put diced tomatoes in my sauce, so I just wanted to, continue to add that base of tomatoes. And then next is the jar of tomato sauce. This is the big one, and I just mix this all together, and then once I do that, I crank the heat down to low, add some garlic powder, some celery salt, pepper, the onion salt, and I just put the lid on it and I let it cook down for as long as I want to. On this day I ended up letting it cook for a good 3 hours on the stovetop on low, and man, it is delicious. Don't forget to stay tuned for where you see I use this, because I end up using it for dinner on this evening, and I'll see you guys in my next one.
You're my enemy. If you would let me go,